Hello, San Bernardino. This is Mayor John Valdivia with another important community update. Today, joining me in the studio is Chief Eric McBride of our San Bernardino Police Department. Good morning, Chief, and welcome.
Good morning.
Today, it's very important that we provide community updates, and I want to ask you a few questions regarding our policing and our police department. One of the top questions that we get at City Hall is, especially with the concerns of COVID-19 and the health outbreak, what are we doing to protect consumers at the retailers, the grocery stores, and some of those mom and pop stores, and price gouging? Walk us through price gouging and what do our constituents and residents do if they see it?
Going to the first part of the question, there has been an increase in the number of people who want to go to the grocery store. You see long lines at certain retailers and stuff like that. And to put people's minds at ease, what we've done is we've assigned officers to X patrol. So you might see officers driving through the parking lot more frequently, contacting the staff, making sure that there's no issues. On occasion, there's been a little bit of disagreements amongst people about what they're able to get in the store. And so we want to allay those fears and make sure that people feel safe when they're out there shopping. And when it comes to price gouging, of course, the fact that everybody is going to the store and buying many supplies more than they typically buy, it's created a shortage in certain types of items. I think we all can talk about the toilet paper shortage, right? And everybody wants to get more toilet paper than they're going to need for the next year. And so what price gouging is once there's an emergency declared, it prohibits anybody, a retailer or anybody else, from selling something for more than 10% more than what it normally would sell for. So if it sells for basically $2, and you can't raise it more than $2.20 for the total. And price gouging, a lot of times, if you don't know the price, I think price gouging is one of those things that you definitely know when you see it. If you see a package of 4 rolls of toilet paper selling for $30, I think you can be pretty assured that that's price gouging. Important that if you do see price gouging, we want to be on top of that. We want to make sure that nobody's taking advantage of anybody else in the city. Call our administrative line at the police department, and that number is 909-383-5311.
Thank you very much, Chief. Important that we protect one another, especially during this crisis. We want to encourage you, if you do see price gouging, please call that number 909-383-5311. Now, let's talk a little bit about shopping and habits. I want to reassure our community, please, only shop what's necessary for that week. Eggs, milk, some of the staples in our community. We're asking you, there's no need to hoard and overbuy. I want to ask that you stay in place, stay at home, and ensure that your neighbors, if you're there at Costco or Sam's Clubs, you might want to be a good neighbor and encourage to gather maybe a shopping list for a couple of your neighbors. But tell us, Chief, are people able to go shopping in our community, and what are those habits for shoppers in our community?
To the first point, I've talked to a lot of the managers of our local retailers that provide groceries and other types of staples that we need while we're sequestered in our homes, and they assure me there is no supply shortage of goods coming in. Matter of fact, the only issue was that when people went to the grocery store and bought many more items than they needed, it created a shortage just because they're accustomed to a certain shipment of items. And so they're on top of it now. If you go to the grocery stores, you see more than ample supplies on the store shelves, and there's plenty of stuff to get. So yes, the governor's order to stay at home is basically to stay at home, but you can still go out for essentials. So you can go out to go grocery shopping. Grocery stores are still open. Some of the mom and pop stores that you see in your neighborhoods are still open because they provide the basic needs that people need to go and cook a meal and stuff like that. You see that a lot of the restaurants are offering takeout, but their dining rooms are closed. And then Home Depots and Lowe's and types of hardware stores are open because if you have something that happens at your house where you need a repair, you might need to go to the store and buy something to fix it. So those types of places are open. The mall is closed. Other types of non-essential businesses are closed as well, to make sure that people just don't go out there to take advantage of being home, but you can still go out to go shopping to get those basic needs that you need for everyday existence.
Very good. Let's move on to kind of more of a community aspect. We're getting some calls. Is there a curfew in the city of San Bernardino? And what are you doing about active patrolling? I've heard recently that crime is down. Chief, walk us through the curfew aspect and our active patrols in the city.
We have, I'll talk about it a little bit later when we talk about another subject, but we do have officers that are available more now than they have been in the past because of how we restructured our call responses. But there is no curfew. It's a stay-at-home order. It's requiring you to stay in your homes if you don't have business or you shouldn't be going to the park and going to other places, and this is absolutely necessary. That being said, if in the middle of the night you suddenly need something from the grocery store and there's one open and you need to get it, you're free to go get it. But keep in mind, just go to that one location and then come back home.
Governor Newsom recently provided some executive orders. One of those is a National Guard dispatchment. My question to you, Chief, is the National Guard coming to the city of San Bernardino?
At the present time, no. On Friday, March 20th, the governor deployed the National Guard to help distribute food at food banks and to protect the most vulnerable. The one thing about when the stay-at-home order happened, a lot of our volunteers here in the city and other places across the state rely heavily on seniors who volunteer their time because they're retired and they have the time and ability to do that. However, those folks who are the most vulnerable to the COVID-19 virus have been asked to stay at home, and they've done that. So that's created a critical shortage at some of those locations that provide substance to people who need it, like at food banks. Some of the deployments that the National Guard is participating in is they've assisted a medical supply warehouse in Sacramento because of the shortage of manpower. They're working in Garden Grove, California, where 19 passengers were quarantined on a Grand Princess cruise ship. And then they're also working at food banks in Sacramento, Amador, Monterey, Riverside, Santa Cruz, and Santa Clara counties. So it's important for those National Guard members to fill in behind those critical volunteers who are now staying at home.
Very good. And let's move on to one other pressing question. Let's talk about public safety as it relates to perhaps a vehicle in our community that has been towed or impounded. When and how, walk us through that process. Are they able to get it released?
Yes, life still goes on. Cars are getting towed, impounded, and stored by the police department. Although the front counter at the police department is closed and you can't access the counter, the normal traffic counter where you go get a car released, we have moved that to an online format. So you are able to go online and then also call the police department to work through getting that vehicle released. We want to make sure that if someone's car is stored because it was maybe stolen and we recovered it, that they're able to get it back and to lessen the amount of storage fees they might have to pay to a tow yard.
Chief, tell us about priority levels and really the response in light of the new stay-at-home orders. We have an opportunity to have increased patrols. Walk us through those increased patrols and what our community policing model looks like, especially in light of COVID-19. Walk us through that, Chief.
So when we took a look at the stay-at-home order, what we took into account was that our officers are going out there and interacting with the public who also may be sick, but there's a chance that an officer might be sick and going into people's homes. So we reprioritized our calls. We, for a long time, have had an online system for report taking. And so what we've done is we've moved all those reports that can typically be made online to where they're mandated that if a person calls the police department, they will be forwarded to that website where they can make that report online. With that being in mind, it's reduced our call volume significantly. As you all know, most of you are probably at home because you're not working unless you're in an essential business such as we've talked about at grocery stores and law enforcement and stuff like that. So a lot of the businesses are shuttered and there's nobody there watching it. So with the change in our call volume as a result of reports online, we can now use the officers to patrol those neighborhoods where those commercial businesses are located that may be closed to make sure that nobody's taking advantage of the situation and breaking into those buildings.
Very good. Thank you very much, Chief McBride. I want to send my deep appreciation to our San Bernardino Police Department. Community, I hope that you'll partner with us as we support our police and patrolmen out on our streets. This is a difficult time, but rest assured that public safety is paramount and of importance to us here in the city of San Bernardino. Thank you very much, Chief McBride, for joining me today in the studio, and have a blessed day.